Jason Sobel of the Action Network joins us here on Big Board Sports and 104.5 The Team ESPN Radio. Jason, good morning. Chris Honorado and Brian Mariano with you here. Are you in the camp that would love to see Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson try to recapture some of that magic?
Well, good morning, guys. First of all, I can guarantee no snow in Augusta, Georgia this week, so we've got that going for us.
Appreciate that, Jason.
Yeah, no, I don't know anyone out there who doesn't want to see Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson in the mix, especially if we get them against some of these younger superstars. You throw in the Jordan Spieths and the Rory McIlroys and Justin Thomases and Ricky Fowlers, all these great young players who are out there now. I've been saying for a few years now that if Tiger could find his game and that if Phil could continue his longevity on the back nine of his career, that we really could be looking at this sort of golden age in the game of golf where these players from the previous generation are still in their primes and all these young players are just getting into theirs, and they're going at it head-to-head in every single major championship. It would be really, really fun to watch on Sunday.
Jason, Brian Mariano in for Roger this morning. Is this one of the most anticipated Masters that you remember covering? I mean, we've gone through so many different storylines over the past 10 to 20 years, but is this one of the most anticipated that you can remember?
Yes, but I'm going to throw an asterisk on there because it feels like about 5 times in the last 10 years, everyone has said, boy, this is going to be the Masters. This is the one everyone's looking forward to. And so we're saying that this year because you look at the recent winners list, and it's absolutely fantastic. We've had a run of 6 straight weeks with really single-name type superstars winning on the PGA Tour. And we've got all these great players playing really well. We've got Tiger and Phil playing their best golf that they have in years. So it feels like, yes, absolutely, maybe one of the most anticipated Masters ever. But I'm not trying to throw water on the fire here, but it just feels like we've said this before. So, yes, with an asterisk.
All right, so bursting our bubble here on a Monday morning is Jason. So I'm kidding, man. By the way, congratulations to you. You were with ESPN for a while, I know, Jason, and now you're jumping on with the Action Network, which is a very cool site. If people out there are unfamiliar with it, check it out, actionnetwork.com, and you can find Jason on Twitter at Jason Sobel, S-O-B-E-L, and then TAN for, of course, the Action Network. You're going to get all the sports coverage you're used to. You're going to get the storytelling around these athletes and events, but you're most specifically, and maybe even more importantly, as opposed to any other website, you're going to get analytic data, and that is kind of taken over our show here this morning with the move Aaron Boone made yesterday and with the three-point shot in basketball with Villanova, and Jason is going to help take you inside of the predictive analysis, if you will, of golf. So, Jason, I guess if we look at the numbers here and the hard data, how much of a chance does Tiger Woods have to win this thing? Because Vegas puts him as the favorite, and maybe they're just looking for people to take the sucker bet, or maybe they really believe Tiger has a chance.
Well, first of all, thank you for that sort of introduction to my new job. I'm going to have you follow me around everywhere to give that little rundown. You said it better than I could say it. So, secondly, look, Tiger Woods was implemented as the favorite through the Vegas odds makers on Thursday morning of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. As he was playing well, he was moved in and installed into the favorite. It's a little bit of a PR move, a little bit of, hey, let's get everyone talking about Tiger, let's get everyone talking about the Masters. Look, if they put Dustin Johnson or Justin Thomas as the favorite, sure, we're still going to be talking about it, the Masters, but as soon as you implement Tiger Woods as the favorite, as the odds makers did that day 3 weeks ago, all of a sudden, I mean, I know my personal Twitter feed was just filled up with everybody talking about that. That was the biggest news of the day in golf, other than the actual tournament itself. Since then, it's calmed down a little bit. It's come back a little bit. I believe that the favorites now are Spieth, McIlroy, Thomas, and Dustin Johnson, and Tiger Woods is just behind them, as well he should be. I mean, we're talking about a guy who hasn't won in nearly 5 full years, trying to win at Augusta. I know Phil Mickelson, who won in Mexico a month ago, said that was such a big one for him to get the monkey off his back before he got to the Masters, because he didn't want to try to get that first win in that same time period, 5 years, at Augusta National. He wanted to get one under his belt before he got there. I asked Tiger about that a few weeks ago, and Tiger said, no, it's different because Phil's been playing. He hasn't been playing, but you still get the sense that Tiger would have liked to get one under his belt, so he wasn't trying to win the first one in so long at such a big event this week.
Jason, you mentioned with Tiger when he's come back, he's had chances in multiple tournaments, and the drivers kind of let him down. Is this something that at the Masters he can still contend without hitting the driver as well as he has been?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, this might be the best place for him to not hit driver well. It is not the most important club in the bag as it might be on other weeks. And I spoke with both Phil Mickelson and Jordan Spieth, guys who've won the Masters before, and I could barely get the question out. I tried to ask them, if you have something less than your A game off the tee at Augusta National, can you still succeed there? And both of them almost cut me off without hesitation. They said, yes, absolutely. They said, and Jordan made a great point. He said, look, you still need to hit driver. You're taking away an advantage from yourself if you're hitting something less than driver off the tee. But as long as you're pretty long with the driver, accuracy isn't as important at Augusta National as it is elsewhere. So I think that plays right into Tiger Woods' hands. I mean, if you look at sort of the blind resume, if I told you player X has won a specific tournament 4 times in the past, he's never missed the cut in 17 tries, and his past 3 starts going into this event, he's finished 12th, 2nd, and 5th, you'd say, well, yeah, he sounds like a pretty good guy to pick this week. That's Tiger Woods at the Masters. And so I'm not sure how you can look at just that data and say, I don't like him this week. It's almost impossible to say he won't contend and be somehow in the mix come this weekend.
Jason, what about the swashbuckling, spit in the wind, grip it and rip it style of Bubba Watson? I said we had Michael Collins on last week, and I'm like, man, we would all love to be on the verge of, quote, retirement and still be at the top of our game the way Watson appears to be. What kind of chance do you give him this weekend?
I just don't love him. I don't have a great rationale for this. He's won twice already this year. He's obviously playing some of the best golf that he's played in years. He has this numerology on his side where seemingly every other year, the even number years, he plays really well at Augusta. That said, there are 5 players with 3 career victories at Augusta National. It's Jimmy DeMeritt, Sam Snead, Gary Player, Nick Faldo, and Phil Mickelson. For whatever reason, that itself is just holding me back from liking Bubba Watson to go win this golf tournament. I just don't see him on the same level as those guys. I mean, if he can go out and win this week, heck, he might be a Hall of Famer already. If he wins this week, he is a surefire Hall of Famer someday with 3 Masters victories. And I don't know why, but that's just holding me back from thinking that Bubba's going to give this thing a really good charge.
Jason, what about, not only is it hard enough to win the Masters once, but then to come back and win it again, and that's where you're asking of Sergio Garcia after being last year's champion. What kind of chance do you give him as the defending champion coming back here in 2018?
I think the pressure is off of him now. For so many years, Sergio is regarded as one of the best players in the game without a major championship. Now he can play a little freer, a little looser, maybe a little happier out there on the golf course. And remember, Sergio's got a lot of things going on right now. He's a new father. His baby, Azalea, named after the 13th hole, is just a few weeks old. He's got the whole family at Augusta this week. He seems happier than we've ever seen him before, and I've always thought that Sergio Garcia, unlike most players whose happiness comes based on their score, Sergio Garcia's score is based on his mood, is based on his happiness. And I think that's why he played so well last year, because he was personally content going into the tournament. I think he still feels that same way, but you never know. 2 a.m. diaper changes can put a crimp in a guy's schedule, and that might just hurt his preparations a little bit this week.
All right, Jason, pin you down here for a pick if we can, and with obviously the right to reserve changing it prior to Thursday morning. Who do you like?
Well, I know we've talked about all these big names. I'm going with a guy who's still a big name, but not necessarily one of the biggest names, and that's Justin Rose. He sort of ticks off all the right boxes. He's kind of at this intersection of current form and course familiarity, which I always look for. He's got everything sort of going for him, everything trending in the right direction. In fact, maybe the only thing I don't like about Justin Rose is the fact that he's become such a trendy pick that all of my fellow colleagues in the media have jumped on this as well. I'm hardly alone in picking Justin Rose, and that I always like to zig when everyone else likes to zag, and right now we're all zigging together, and I'm not quite sure I like that. But otherwise, I like everything about Justin Rose going into this week.
One day you won't have to be in Las Vegas or a dark alley somewhere to place a legal sports bet. I highly anticipate that day because I think the time has come. We're all looking for an edge, and you can find it at the actionnetwork.com with all of Jason Sobel's work there now instead of at ESPN. Jason, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for jumping on what I know is a busy week, and we hope we'll catch up down the road.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me.